They want me to talk about the fall of Saigon, about April 1975, about the end, like it was just an event, just a moment in history, just something that happened and was over. It wasn't. It's not over. It's still happening. Every day, every night, every time I close my eyes. My name is Captain Michael Brennan. I'm 45 years old now. In April 1975, I was 35 years old and attached to the Defense Attaché office in Saigon, intelligence liaison, cultural advisor, bureaucratic terms for someone who'd been in Vietnam too long and couldn't leave. I'd first arrived in Vietnam in 1968. Marine Corps, infantry officer, fought in the Tet Offensive, got wounded, got sent home, should have stayed home. But I came back in 1970. Couldn't explain why. Something about Vietnam got into your blood, into your soul. You couldn't leave it even when you physically left. So I came back, this time as a civilian advisor, working with ARVN, Army of the Republic of Vietnam, South Vietnamese forces, training them, advising them, watching them fight and die for a cause that was already lost. By 1973, American combat troops were gone. Paris Peace Accords. We declared victory and left. Left the South Vietnamese to fight alone. Promised them support. Promised them we'd come back if they needed us. More lies. We were good at those. I stayed. One of the few Americans who did. Working in Saigon, living among the Vietnamese, watching the war continue without American combat forces, watching it slowly, inevitably fall apart. The North Vietnamese didn't honor the peace accords. Nobody expected them to. They regrouped, rebuilt, prepared for the final offensive. It came in March 1975, lightning fast, province after province falling, the ARVN collapsing, not because they were cowards. They fought hard, many of them, but because they were abandoned, undersupplied, demoralized, betrayed by their American allies who'd promised to stand with them. By early April, it was clear. Saigon was going to fall. The question wasn't if, just when. The embassy started evacuating non-essential personnel, Americans, third country nationals, some Vietnamese, the ones with connections, with papers, with luck. But most Vietnamese couldn't leave, millions of them, people who'd worked with Americans, who'd fought alongside us, who'd believed our promises, who'd staked their lives on America keeping its word. We left them, abandoned them, saved ourselves and left them to face the North Vietnamese alone. I had Vietnamese friends, colleagues, people I'd worked with for years, RVN officers, interpreters, civilian employees, people who'd risked everything to help us. You'll get us out, right? They'd ask. When it comes time to leave, you'll make sure we get out? Of course, I'd say. We'll get you out. I promise. Another lie. But this one I believed. This one I wanted to be true. I had no authority to evacuate anyone. No power to grant visas or passage. I was just a mid-level advisor. Just another American who'd stayed too long and would now watch everything we'd fought for collapse. But I thought, hoped, believed that when it came time, we'd do the right thing. We'd save the people who'd helped us, who'd trusted us, who'd believed in us. I was wrong about that, too. April 1975. Saigon was falling. The North Vietnamese were at the gates. The city was in chaos. Millions trying to flee. Hundreds of thousands with no way out. And we, the Americans, we were focused on saving ourselves, on getting our people out, on evacuating the embassy. Everyone else could burn. I spent the last days of April trying to get my Vietnamese friends out, trying to find them space on evacuation flights, trying to get them papers, visas, anything. I failed almost all of them. Saved a handful, lost dozens, watched them left behind, watched them face what was coming, watched them realize that America's promises meant nothing, that they'd been betrayed. The last days of Saigon weren't just the fall of a city. They were the death of trust, the death of honor, the death of any illusion that we'd fought for something meaningful. We'd spent 10 years in Vietnam, 58,000 Americans dead, hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese dead, millions displaced, a country destroyed. And in the end, we ran, abandoned it, left it to fall, left everyone who'd believed in us to face the consequences alone. April 29th, 1975, the final day. That's what they want me to talk about. The helicopters on the embassy roof, the chaos, the evacuation, the betrayal. That's what it was. Not an evacuation, not a retreat, a betrayal of everything we'd promised, everyone who'd trusted us, everything we claimed to stand for. And I was there, watched it happen, participated in it, saved myself while others died. 10 years later, I'm still there, still watching Saigon fall, still watching people we abandoned, still carrying the guilt, still trying to justify what we did, still failing, because there's no justification, no excuse, no way to make it right. We broke our promises. We abandoned our allies. We ran. And I was part of it. That's what this interview is really about. Not history, not facts, not the tactical details of an evacuation. It's about guilt, about shame, about carrying the weight of betrayal for the rest of your life, about watching everything you believed in die in the chaos of a falling city, about learning that your country's word means nothing, that promises are just words, that honor is a lie we tell ourselves. That's what the fall of Saigon taught me. And I've been living with that lesson for 10 years, carrying it, drowning in it, dying from it, still. April 21st, 1975. That's when I knew for certain. That's when reality hit. President Thieu resigned, went on television, gave a speech, bitter, angry, calling out America, saying we'd abandoned them, betrayed them, promised support and delivered nothing. He was right about all of it. I watched that speech in a bar in Saigon with other Americans, with Vietnamese friends. Everyone knew what it meant. The government was collapsing. The end was days away, maybe hours. You're leaving soon, yes? Nguyen Van Than asked me, captain in the ARVN. Good officer, good man. We'd worked together for 3 years. Not yet, I said, and still time. For you, maybe. Not for us. He looked at me, saw through the lie. You will leave. You Americans always leave, and we will stay. We will face what comes. I'll get you out, I said. You and your family. I promise. He smiled. Sad smile. You cannot promise this. You have no power to make this happen, but I appreciate the lie. He was right. I had no power, no authority, just words, just empty promises that sounded like every other promise America had made to Vietnam. The city was changing. You could feel it. Panic creeping in. The wealthy were already fleeing. Private planes, boats, bribes. Anyone with money or connections was getting out. The rest, millions of them, they were trapped, waiting, hoping, praying for some miracle that wouldn't come. The embassy was in chaos, evacuation plans being drawn up, redrawn, changed hourly. Nobody knew how much time we had. Nobody wanted to admit what was happening. Orderly evacuation, they kept saying. Controlled withdrawal. We have time. No need to panic. More lies, we were panicking. We just didn't want to admit it. April 23rd, Xuan Loc fell, the last major defensive position before Saigon. The ARVN fought hard there, held out for weeks, but they ran out of ammunition, out of support, out of everything. They fell. The road to Saigon was open. The North Vietnamese were coming. I tried to get Than and his family on an evacuation list. Went to everyone I knew. Called in every favor. Begged, pleaded, demanded. He's not American, they said. He's not essential personnel. We have our own people to worry about. He worked with us for years. He risked his life. We owe him. We don't owe anyone anything. We're leaving. He's not coming with us. That's final. I kept trying, kept fighting, kept believing I could make a difference. I couldn't. I was powerless. Just another American who'd made promises I couldn't keep. April 26th. The city was falling apart. Literally. Riots. Looting. Desperate people trying to get money, food, anything that would help them survive or escape. The airport was mobbed. Thousands trying to get on flights. Pushing, shoving, bribing, fighting. Some making it. Most not. I went to the airport that day, trying to find space for Than and his family. The scene was chaos. Absolute chaos. People crying, begging, screaming, families being separated, children lost in the crowds. American personnel were being prioritized. Then third country nationals, then Vietnamese with American connections, if they had the right papers, if they knew the right people, if they were lucky. Everyone else was left behind, left to face the North Vietnamese, left to face re-education camps, execution, disappearance. I saw a Vietnamese man, must have been 60, on his knees, begging an American official. He had papers, documents proving he'd worked as an interpreter for 10 years, risked his life, saved American lives. Please, he was saying, please, I have family. They will kill me. Please. The official barely looked at him. Next. Move along. Next. The old man stayed on his knees, crying, knowing he was dead, knowing we'd abandoned him. I wanted to help him, wanted to grab him and force him onto a plane, but I couldn't. I had no authority, no power, nothing, just guilt, just shame, just the knowledge that we were leaving him to die. April 27th. The North Vietnamese were shelling Tan Son Nut Airport. The runways were damaged. Fixed-wing aircraft couldn't land anymore. We were down to helicopters. The embassy issued instructions. American citizens report for evacuation. Bring one small bag. Be ready to move immediately. Nothing about the Vietnamese who'd helped us. Nothing about our allies, our interpreters, our employees, our friends. Nothing. Just Americans, just saving ourselves. Fuck everyone else. I went to Than's house that night. His wife was packing. His children, 2 daughters, 8 and 10, were scared. They knew something terrible was happening, but didn't understand what. I could not get you on the list, I told him. I tried. I tried everything, but I failed. He nodded, expected it. It is okay. You tried. That is more than most Americans did. It's not okay. You helped us, risked everything. We owe you. I owe you. You owe me nothing. You were honest. You tried. Many Americans made promises and did not try. You tried. He put his hand on my shoulder. Now you must go. Save yourself. Tell people what happened here. Tell them we fought. We believed. We died believing in America's promises. I can't just leave you. You must. You will die if you stay. I will die anyway. Better you live. Better you remember. His wife brought tea. We sat, drank, talked about nothing important, about everything important, about the years we'd worked together, the missions, the close calls, the hope we'd once had that Vietnam could be saved. That hope was dead now, dead as the city, dead as the promises, dead as everything. I left at midnight, hugged Than, hugged his wife, touched his daughters' heads. They were sleeping. Walked away knowing I'd never see them again, knowing what would happen to them, knowing I'd abandoned them. April 28th. The city was surrounded. North Vietnamese troops were at the perimeter. Artillery was falling on Saigon. The end was hours away, maybe less. The embassy compound was packed. Thousands of people, Americans, Vietnamese, everyone who'd managed to get inside, everyone hoping for evacuation. The helicopters couldn't take everyone, couldn't even take half. Choices had to be made. Americans first, then Vietnamese with special priority, then nobody. The rest would be left. I spent that day helping with crowd control, trying to maintain order, trying to keep panic from turning into riot. But how do you maintain order when everyone knows they're being abandoned? When everyone knows some will be saved and most won't? When the selection is arbitrary and cruel? You can't. You just try and fail and watch it fall apart. That night, April 28th into 29th, I didn't sleep. Couldn't. Just walked the compound. Looked at faces. Vietnamese faces. People who'd trusted us, believed us, bet their lives on American promises, and lost. At dawn on April 29th, the order came. Operation Frequent Wind, final evacuation. Helicopters would come. Americans and priority Vietnamese would leave. Everyone else would stay. The final betrayal was beginning, and I was part of it, complicit in it, guilty of it. April 29th, 1975. The longest day of my life. The helicopters started coming at dawn. CH-53S, CH-46S, Hueys, landing on the embassy roof, landing in the compound, taking people out, 50 at a time, 60, as many as they could fit. But there were thousands in the compound, and only so many helicopters, and only so much time before the North Vietnamese overran us. The math was simple and brutal. Most people wouldn't make it out. We tried to organize it, create lines, priority lists, order. But order broke down within hours. People were desperate, pushing, fighting, trying to get to the helicopters. Families were being separated. Husbands from wives, parents from children. People grabbing whoever they could and trying to get on the next bird. I was helping maintain the landing zone, keeping people back, controlling the crowds, choosing who got on each helicopter, choosing who lived and who didn't. That's what it came down to. Life and death decisions, made in seconds, based on papers, connections, luck. A woman with 3 children. She had papers, valid papers, but there was only room for 2 more people on the helicopter. Please, she begged, please, my children. You and 2 children, I said. That's all we have room for. I have 3 children. I cannot leave one. I cannot choose. Then none of you go. I'm sorry. Those are the choices. She looked at her children, at me, at the helicopter, making an impossible decision in impossible circumstances. She chose the 2 youngest, left the oldest, a boy, maybe 12, behind. He was screaming, reaching for her. She was crying, looking back, being pushed onto the helicopter. The boy stood there, watching his mother and siblings fly away, left behind, alone, 12 years old. I put my hand on his shoulder. We'll get you on the next one. He looked at me, eyes dead, already knowing. You are lying. He was right. There might not be a next one for him. Might not be time. Might not be room. He'd been sacrificed by his mother, by me, by the circumstances, by America. Another helicopter. More people loading. An old couple, must have been 70, trying to get on. No papers, no priority, just desperate. You can't board, the Marine Guard said. Americans and priority Vietnamese only. We worked for Americans, the old man said. 20 years. My wife cooked, I cleaned. 20 years. Please. No papers, no boarding. Move aside. They didn't move, just stood there, knowing this was their last chance, knowing they were going to die. The Marine physically pushed them back. Had to. There wasn't time, wasn't room. Couldn't save everyone. The old couple sat down on the ground, holding hands, waiting for the end. I see them sometimes, in my dreams, that old couple, holding hands, left to die because they cleaned American houses and didn't have the right papers. The embassy was surrounded by thousands more Vietnamese, outside the walls, trying to get in, scaling the fences, being pushed back by Marines, by orders from Washington. Do not let them in. Americans only. Priority evacuees only. Everyone else stays out. We were building walls while people who'd helped us for years stood outside, begging, pleading, showing their papers, their proof of service, their proof they'd believed in us. And we pushed them back, left them outside, left them to the North Vietnamese. I saw faces I recognized out there, people I'd worked with, Vietnamese staff from the attaché office, interpreters, clerks, people who'd typed our reports and filed our documents and brought us coffee for years. All outside, all abandoned, all watching us leave them behind. One man, Tran Van Duke, had worked as my interpreter for 2 years. He was at the gate, pressing against the fence. We made eye contact. "Captain Brennan," he shouted, "please. You know me. Please let me in." I walked over. "Duke, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't have authority." "You promised. You said you would help. Please." I tried. I tried everything. I'm sorry. He understood then, understood that promises meant nothing, that he'd been betrayed, that he was going to die. "Fuck you," he said. Clear, precise, perfect English. "Fuck you and fuck America." He walked away, into the crowd. I never saw him again. Don't know what happened to him. Re-education camp, probably. Or execution. Or just disappeared. One of millions who vanished when Saigon fell. By midday, the situation was deteriorating. North Vietnamese artillery was getting closer. Small arms fire in the distance. They were in the city, moving toward the embassy. The helicopters kept coming, but slower now, fewer of them, running out of time, running out of fuel, running out of everything. The ambassador was still in the embassy, refusing to leave, insisting we'd evacuate everyone, that we'd keep our promises. But we couldn't. We all knew it. There were still thousands in the compound, thousands more outside, and maybe hours left, maybe less. People were burning documents, destroying files, anything that could identify Vietnamese who'd worked with us, trying to protect them, trying to erase the evidence of their collaboration. Too late. The North Vietnamese knew. They had lists, names, everyone who'd worked with Americans, everyone who'd fought against them, everyone who'd believed in the South. They were all marked, all dead men walking, and we were leaving them to it. Around 1400 hours, the decision came down. Cut the evacuation. Americans only now. Priority Vietnamese only if there's room. The thousands still waiting. Cut off, left behind. The gates were closing. The final helicopters were coming, and most people wouldn't be on them. Families who'd waited all day, all night, who'd believed until the last moment that America would save them, that we'd keep our promises. They understood now, saw it in our faces, in the closing gates, in the finality of it. The crying, the screaming, the begging, it was unbearable. But we had to bear it, had to maintain order, had to get the Americans out, had to abandon everyone else. A Vietnamese woman, young, maybe 25, she was holding a baby. American baby, half American. She was trying to get to the helicopter, pushing through the crowd. "Please, please, baby is American. Father is American soldier." Please take baby. She was being pushed back, couldn't get through, couldn't reach the helicopter. She held the baby up, over her head, trying to hand it to someone, anyone. Please take baby. Please, baby is American. A Marine took the baby, pulled it over the crowd. The mother was left behind, screaming, reaching, watching her child disappear. The Marine brought the baby to the helicopter. Someone took it. The helicopter lifted off. The baby was saved. The mother was left. I don't know if that was mercy or cruelty. I don't know if that baby survived. Don't know if it ever knew its mother. Don't know anything except that I watched it happen and did nothing. By evening, the compound was chaos. Complete chaos. Order had broken down. People were fighting, rushing the helicopters, being beaten back, crushed, trampled. The Marines were using rifle butts, tear gas, anything to maintain control, to keep people back, to create space for the helicopters. We'd become monsters, all of us, beating back desperate people, people who'd trusted us, who'd believed in us, who were now being left to die. All so we could save ourselves, all so we could abandon them with clear consciences, or try to. There are no clear consciences, not for what we did, not ever. The sun was setting. The helicopters were still coming. But there were still hundreds in the compound, still thousands outside, and we were running out of time. The final horror was approaching, the moment when we'd lift off, when the helicopters would stop coming, when we'd leave everyone else behind, when the betrayal would be complete. And I'd be on one of those helicopters, flying away, saving myself, while everyone who'd trusted me died. That was coming. I could feel it, could see it approaching like a wave, like the end of everything. And there was nothing I could do to stop it, nothing except remember. Remember all of them. Remember what we did. Remember that we left them. Remember that America's word meant nothing, that our promises were lies, that we saved ourselves and abandoned everyone else. Remember and carry it and die from carrying it forever. Night fell on April 29th. The helicopters kept coming. The evacuation continued, but slower now, more difficult, more desperate. The North Vietnamese were in the city. We could hear the fighting, close, getting closer, small arms fire, explosions. They were blocks away, maybe less. We had hours left, maybe minutes. The ambassador finally left around 2100 hours, took the American flag, took the last illusions that we'd save everyone, took the pretense that this was anything but abandonment. When his helicopter lifted off, everyone knew this was it, the end. America was leaving. And most of us, most of the Vietnamese, we weren't coming with them. The compound erupted, people rushing the landing zone, fighting, screaming, trying to get on the helicopters, knowing these were the last ones, knowing this was their final chance. The Marines were overwhelmed, couldn't hold the lines, couldn't maintain order. It was chaos, pure chaos. People trampling each other, children lost, families destroyed. I was still there, still helping, still trying to get people onto helicopters, still making choices about who lived and who died. A man grabbed me, Vietnamese, middle-aged, desperate. Please, I have children. I worked for Americans. 5 years. Please. Get in line, I said. Wait your turn. There is no time. Please, my children. He was right. There wasn't time. But what could I do? Let him through and deny someone else? Someone who'd also worked for us? Who also had children? Who also deserved to be saved? There were no good choices, only choosing which person to condemn. I let him through. Maybe his children made it out. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Don't know what happened to any of them. Just know I made the choice. Just know someone else died because I chose him. Around 2,200, word came down. Final helicopters incoming. After this, we're done. Everyone remaining gets left. Final helicopters, final choices, final betrayals. There were still 300 people in the compound. 300 people who'd made it inside, who'd waited all day, all night, who'd believed until the last second. 300 people, and room for maybe 100 on the remaining helicopters. The math was clear. 200 people would be left. 200 people would face the North Vietnamese. 200 people would die because we ran out of time, or didn't care enough to make more time. We started pulling people out, Americans first, the few remaining Americans, embassy staff, Marines, anyone with an American passport. Then priority Vietnamese, the ones with connections, with papers, with luck. The rest were pushed back, held back, told to wait, told there might be more helicopters, told lies to keep them calm while we abandoned them. A Vietnamese woman, maybe 50, she'd worked at the embassy for 15 years. Clerical staff, filing, typing, nothing special, nothing that earned her priority status. She had her papers, showed them to me. Proof of employment, 15 years, letters of recommendation, everything. I'm sorry, I said. You're not priority. You have to wait. Wait for what? There are no more helicopters. You are leaving me. We'll try to get you on the last one. Just wait. Please. She looked at me, saw through it, saw the lie. You are a coward. You are all cowards. You promised. You lied. She was right. We were cowards. We did lie. We promised everything and delivered nothing. She sat down, stopped fighting, stopped trying, just accepted it. Accepted that she was going to die because she'd believed in America. I see her face sometimes, that acceptance, that resignation, that understanding that she'd been betrayed. Around 2,300, I got word. My evacuation was scheduled. I was on the next helicopter. Time to leave. Time to save myself. I looked at the 300 people still in the compound. The ones we were leaving. The ones who'd trusted us, believed us, bet their lives on American promises. And I walked toward the helicopter, toward safety, toward survival, toward abandoning them. A man grabbed my arm. You are leaving? You are going? Yes, I said, and take my daughter. Please. She is young. She has life ahead. Please, take her. He pushed a girl forward, maybe 16, terrified, crying. I can't, I said. I don't have authority. Please. She will die. Please, take her. I beg you. I looked at the girl, at the father, at the desperation, at the love, at the sacrifice. I'll try, I said. Took her hand. Started leading her toward the helicopter. A Marine stopped me. Who's this? She's with me. Priority evacuee. She doesn't look priority. She is. Let her through. He looked at me, at her, at the chaos around us. Made a decision. Fine. Get on, both of you. Now. We climbed aboard, the girl and me. She was shaking, crying, looking back at her father. He was standing in the compound, watching, waving, smiling through tears, watching his daughter leave, knowing he'd never see her again, knowing he'd sacrificed himself to save her. The helicopter lifted off. The compound fell away below us. 300 people left behind. 300 faces looking up, watching us leave, watching us abandon them. I watched the embassy disappear, watched Saigon spread out below, watched the city that had been my home for 5 years fade into darkness. We'd failed. We'd lost. We'd betrayed everyone who'd trusted us. And I was flying away, saving myself, taking one girl out of thousands, one small redemption in an ocean of betrayals. The helicopter flew toward the ships, toward the 7th Fleet waiting offshore, toward safety, toward America, toward home. But I wasn't going home. Home was gone, died in Saigon, died with everyone we left behind, died with every promise we broke. What was flying away was just a shell, just someone who'd survived by abandoning others, by making choices that condemned people to death, by being part of the machinery of betrayal. We landed on the USS Blue Ridge, climbed out. The girl was taken by relief workers. I never saw her again. Don't know her name. Don't know what happened to her. Just know I saved one person while leaving thousands. One redemption. Thousands of damnations. The other evacuees were being processed, given food, water, medical attention, debriefed. Everyone was exhausted, traumatized, but alive, safe, because we'd abandoned everyone else. I found a quiet spot on deck, looked back toward Vietnam, toward Saigon, could see fires burning on the horizon, the city falling, the end happening in real time. And I thought about everyone we'd left, Than and his family, Duke, the old couple, the woman with 15 years of service, the father who gave up his daughter, the 300 in the compound, the thousands outside the walls, all of them dying because we'd run out of time, or commitment, or honor. All of them betrayed by promises we'd never intended to keep. April 30th came, dawn. The radio brought news. Saigon had fallen. The North Vietnamese had taken the city. The war was over. South Vietnam was gone. Everyone we'd left behind was now in enemy hands, facing re-education, execution, disappearance, all because they'd trusted America, helped America, believed in America, and America had abandoned them. That was the legacy. Not the years of fighting, not the billions spent, not the 58,000 American dead. The legacy was betrayal, was running, was leaving our allies to die while we saved ourselves. That was April 1975. That was the fall of Saigon. That was the end of American honor in Vietnam. And I was part of it, complicit in it, guilty of it. And I've been carrying that guilt for 10 years, carrying it, drowning in it, dying from it, still. 3 days later, May 3rd, 1975, on board the USS Blue Ridge, still processing evacuees, still accounting for who made it out, who didn't. That's when I broke, when the full weight of it hit me, when I couldn't pretend anymore that what we'd done was acceptable, necessary, justified. We'd compiled lists, names of Vietnamese who'd worked with Americans, who'd been left behind, trying to account for them, trying to document the betrayal. Thousands of names, pages and pages of names. People we'd abandoned, people who'd trusted us, people who were now dead or in camps or disappeared. I was going through the lists, checking names, confirming, and I found them. Nguyen Van Than, Captain ARVN, status, left behind. Location, unknown. His wife, his 2 daughters, ages 8 and 10, all listed, all left behind, all unknown. The family I'd promised to save. The man I'd worked with for 3 years. The children I'd touched their heads while they slept. All abandoned, all probably dead, all because I'd failed them. I stared at those names, at the confirmation of my failure, at the proof of my betrayal, and something inside me shattered. I walked out on deck. It was night. The South China Sea was calm, stars overhead, beautiful night, wrong kind of night for what I was feeling. I stood at the rail, looked at the water, thought about jumping, about ending it, about not carrying this anymore. Would be easy. Just climb over, just fall, just let the water take me, let it end. I deserved it. Deserved to die. Deserved worse than death. For what I'd done. What I'd failed to do. What I'd been part of. You thinking about jumping. I turned. Another evacuee. American, civilian contractor. He'd been in Vietnam for years. Knew what we'd done, what we'd left behind. Yeah, I said. Honest, no point lying. Don't, he said. You jump, nobody remembers them. You die, they're forgotten. Someone has to carry them. Someone has to remember. I can't carry this. It's too much. Yeah, it is. But you will anyway, because the alternative is letting them disappear, letting them die twice, once in Saigon, once in our memories. He was right. I knew he was right. But knowing didn't make it easier, didn't make the weight lighter, didn't make the guilt bearable. I didn't jump, couldn't, had to carry them, had to remember, had to live with what we'd done, even though living with it was killing me. The next day, May 4th, I was called to debriefing. They wanted information, intelligence, what I knew about ARVN capabilities, about Vietnamese who'd worked with us, about what happened in the final days. I told them everything, every detail, every name, every betrayal, every person we'd abandoned. They wrote it down, filed it, put it in reports that nobody would read. That wouldn't change anything. That wouldn't save anyone. Did we do the right thing? I asked the intelligence officer. Leaving them? He looked at me, uncomfortable. We did what we had to do. We saved who we could. We saved Americans. We left everyone else. We couldn't save everyone. We didn't try. We had time. We had resources. We chose not to use them. We chose to leave them. He didn't respond. What could he say? We both knew the truth. We'd chosen to abandon them, chosen to save ourselves, chosen betrayal over honor. On May 6th, the ship docked in Subic Bay, Philippines. We were being processed, sent home, sent back to America, to safety, to lives that would continue while theirs ended. I was given discharge papers, honorable discharge. Thank you for your service. Here's your ticket home. Welcome back to the world. Honorable. That word. How could they call it honorable? How could any of what we'd done be called honorable? There was no honor in abandonment, no honor in betrayal, no honor in leaving allies to die while you saved yourself. But they gave me the papers anyway, called it honorable anyway, added me to the list of Vietnam veterans who'd served with distinction. Distinction, another lie, another word that meant nothing. I flew back to the States, May 10th, 1975, landed in San Francisco, where I'd left from in 1968. 7 years ago, 7 years that felt like 7 lifetimes. There were protesters at the airport, anti-war protesters. They'd been protesting for years. They saw us, the evacuees, the last Vietnam veterans coming home, and they shouted, spit, called us baby killers, war criminals, murderers. They were right about some of it. We'd participated in a criminal war. We'd done terrible things. We'd abandoned people who'd trusted us. But we hadn't wanted it, hadn't chosen it. We'd just tried to survive it, tried to do our jobs, tried to save who we could, and failed almost everyone. I walked through the protesters, didn't respond, didn't engage. What could I say? That we'd tried, that we'd done our best, that we'd left thousands to die, but at least we felt bad about it. There was nothing to say. No defense, no excuse, no justification. Just guilt, just shame, just the weight of it all. My family met me outside, my parents. They hugged me, cried, said they were so glad I was safe, so happy I was home. Home, that word, like I could come home. Like home was a place that still existed for me. I smiled. hugged them back, told them I was fine, told them I was happy to be back, told them everything they wanted to hear. All lies, all protective lies, all ways to avoid telling them the truth, that I wasn't fine, that I'd never be fine again, that I'd left part of myself in Saigon, left it with all the people we'd abandoned, left it dying in the streets while we flew away. That night, my first night back in America, I lay in my old bed in my old room. Tried to sleep. Couldn't. All I could see were faces, Than and his family, Duke, the old couple, the woman with 15 years of service, the father waving goodbye to his daughter, the 300 in the compound, the thousands outside the walls, all dead now, all gone, all betrayed by the country I'd represented, the country I'd served, the country that had sent me to Vietnam and then abandoned everyone who'd helped us. I got up, went to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, at my face, at my eyes, at the person I'd become. I didn't recognize him, didn't know him, didn't want to be him. He was someone who'd abandoned people, who'd made choices that killed, who'd been part of something shameful, something dishonorable, something that would haunt him forever. I broke down right there in the bathroom, fell to my knees, started sobbing, couldn't stop, couldn't breathe, couldn't function. 7 years in Vietnam, 5 years in Saigon, and it all ended with me on my knees in a bathroom in California, crying, breaking, dying inside. My father found me, helped me up, held me while I cried, didn't ask questions, didn't try to fix it, just held me. "It's over now," he said. "You're home. You're safe. It's over." But it wasn't over, would never be over, would never stop being there, never stop haunting me, never stop killing me slowly from the inside. I'd survived Vietnam, survived Saigon, survived the fall, survived the evacuation. But I hadn't survived. Not really. The person who came back wasn't me, wasn't anyone. Just a shell, just a ghost. Just something that looked human but was hollow inside. Hollow except for guilt, except for shame, except for the faces of everyone we'd left behind. That's what came home from Saigon. Not a veteran, not a survivor, just a broken thing carrying the weight of betrayal, carrying thousands of dead, carrying the end of everything I'd believed in. And I'd been carrying it for 10 years. And I'd carry it for the rest of my life. And it would kill me eventually, slowly, from the inside out. But until then, I'd remember. Remember all of them. Remember what we did. Remember that America broke its promises. Remember that I was part of it. Remember, and carry it and die from it. That was all I could do, all I had left. Remember the fall. Remember the faces. Remember the betrayal, forever. 10 years. It's been 10 years since Saigon fell. 10 years since we abandoned them. 10 years since we ran. And I'm still there. Still on that embassy rooftop. Still watching the helicopters leave. Still seeing the faces of everyone we left behind. Still dying from it. I'm 45 years old now, living alone in an apartment in Arlington, Virginia. Working, if you can call it that, as a consultant. Southeast Asian affairs. Writing reports nobody reads. Analyzing a region we destroyed and abandoned. The irony isn't lost on me. I never married. Tried once in 78. Good woman. Karen. She tried to understand. Tried to reach me. But I couldn't let her in. Couldn't let anyone in. The walls were too high. The guilt was too deep. She left after a year. I didn't fight it. She deserved better. Deserved someone who could feel, who could love, who could be present. I wasn't that person. Would never be that person again. The nightmares never stopped. 10 years of the same dreams, the same faces, Than and his family, the old couple, the 12-year-old boy, the father waving goodbye to his daughter, the 300 in the compound, always the same, always watching them, always abandoning them, always flying away while they died. I wake up screaming most nights. The neighbors have complained. I don't care. What am I supposed to do? Stop remembering? Stop seeing them? Can't do that. They won't let me. The dead don't let you forget. I drink to sleep. Have since 75. Whiskey mostly. Whatever dulls the memories. Whatever makes the faces fade. Whatever lets me pretend for a few hours that I'm not still there. Still in Saigon. Still betraying them. The VA says I have PTSD. Survivor's guilt. Moral injury. They have terms for it now. Clinical language to describe what happens when you abandon people who trusted you. When you break promises that cost lives. When you survive by leaving others to die. They offer therapy, support groups, medication. I've tried it all. Nothing works. Nothing can fix what's broken. Nothing can wash away the guilt. Nothing can bring back the dead or undo the betrayal. Some wounds don't heal. Some guilt doesn't fade. Some betrayals can't be forgiven, especially by yourself. I went to the Vietnam Memorial once, the wall, in '82 when it opened. Thought maybe it would help. Thought maybe seeing the names of the 58,000 Americans who died would, I don't know. Put it in perspective. Make it mean something. It didn't. I stood there looking at all those names, all those American dead, and all I could think about was the names that weren't there. The Vietnamese names, the ARVN soldiers, the interpreters, the civilians, the millions who died, the hundreds of thousands we abandoned. Their names aren't on that wall, aren't remembered, aren't honored. They're just gone, erased, forgotten in the country they died for. I left after 20 minutes. Couldn't stay. Couldn't pretend that memorial meant anything when so many were forgotten. I tried to find out what happened to them. To Than and his family, to the others. I wrote letters, made calls, used my connections, tried to track them through refugee organizations, through the State Department, through anyone who might know. Nothing, no records, no information, no way to know if they survived the re-education camps, if they were executed, if they made it out years later, if they're still there, if they're alive. Nothing. They just disappeared, like millions of others, gone into the void of history, of wars that end badly, of people who trusted the wrong country. I did find the girl, the 16-year-old, the one whose father sacrificed himself to save her. She made it to America, refugee resettlement in California, got educated, built a life. She's 36 now, has a family, survived. I called her once, in '83, told her I was there that night, that I helped get her on the helicopter, that I remembered her father. She thanked me, polite, distant, didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to remember, had built a life by forgetting, by moving on, by not looking back at what was lost. I understand. She survived. That's what matters. She got the life her father died to give her. That's a kind of redemption. But it doesn't redeem me. Doesn't redeem what we did. One saved doesn't balance thousands abandoned. One success doesn't erase 1,000 failures. The math doesn't work. Never will. I see Vietnamese people sometimes, here in Arlington, refugees who made it out, who built lives, who survived the war and the camps and the journey and everything after. I wonder if they were there, in Saigon, in April '75, if they saw us leave, if they were among the ones we abandoned, if they remember, if they hate us, if they should. I want to apologize. Want to say I'm sorry. Want to explain that we tried, that some of us cared, that we failed them. but we didn't want to. But what good would it do? What would apologies accomplish? The dead are still dead. The betrayed are still betrayed. The abandoned are still abandoned. Sorry doesn't fix anything, doesn't bring anyone back, doesn't change what happened, just makes the apologizer feel slightly better about something that should never feel better. So I don't apologize, don't approach them, don't explain, just carry it. Silently, alone. The way I've carried it for 10 years. The way I'll carry it until I die. I think about the fall every day. Every single day for 10 years. April 29th, 1975. The helicopters, the faces, the choices, the abandonment. It's more real to me than anything in my present life. More vivid, more present, more important. My apartment, my job, my life here. It's all just background noise. Pale shadows compared to that day, that betrayal, that end of everything. The real me is still there. Still on that embassy roof. Still watching them. Still making choices, still failing them. This 45-year-old man in Arlington, this is just a ghost. Just the part that had to keep functioning, had to keep existing, had to carry the memories forward. But the real Michael Brennan died in Saigon in April 1975. Died with everyone we left behind. Died with every broken promise. Died with American honor. What's left is just this. Just a vehicle for guilt, for memory, for bearing witness to what we did, what we failed to do, what we became. People thank me sometimes for my service, for my time in Vietnam. Thank you for serving, they say. Sincere, respectful. I nod. Say you're welcome. Don't tell them the truth. That I'm not someone to thank. That my service ended in betrayal. That I'm ashamed of what I was part of. That I'd give anything to go back and do it differently. To save them. To keep our promises. To not run. But I can't. Can't go back. Can't change it. Can't fix it. Can only carry it and remember. And hope that remembering counts for something. Even though it doesn't. Even though they're still dead. Still abandoned. Still betrayed. No matter how much I remember. No matter how much I carry. No matter how much it kills me. They're still gone. And we still left them. And that's the truth that won't change. Won't fade. Won't ever be okay. 10 years later, I understand now. Understand what April 1975 really was. Not just the fall of a city, not just the end of a war, not just a military defeat. It was the death of American credibility, American honor, American promises. The revelation that when things get hard, when keeping promises becomes costly, when saving allies becomes inconvenient, we run, we abandon, we betray, and then we call it an orderly evacuation. Call it doing the best we could. Call it honorable. More lies, the last lies, the lies we tell ourselves so we can sleep at night. I don't sleep at night. Haven't really slept in 10 years, can't afford to. Because when I sleep, I see them, all of them, asking why, asking how we could leave them, asking what happened to the promises. And I have no answers. No excuses, no justification, just guilt, just shame, just the weight of knowing I was part of it, complicit in it, guilty of it. 10 years, and I'm still there, still falling, still failing them, still dying from what we did in Saigon, and I'll die there, eventually. When my body finally catches up with what happened to my soul in April 1975. When the guilt finally finishes what it started 10 years ago. When I finally stop carrying them. Stop remembering them. Stop betraying them over and over in my dreams. Until then, I'm still there, still in Saigon, still watching it fall, still being part of the betrayal, still dying from it, forever, always. There. The fall of Saigon didn't end on April 30th, 1975. It's still happening, still falling, still destroying everyone who was there, and still destroying me 10 years later and forever. That's the truth. That's what they want me to talk about. That's what the fall of Saigon means. Not history, not the past, not something that ended, but something that's still happening, still falling, still killing us. All of us who were there, all of us who left, all of us who abandoned them, we're all still falling, still there forever.